Greetings, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Currently looking to my video blog. I'm actually doing this after I completed my, so it's going to be a continuation of what I was talking about on my podcast. I want to point it out that, the social media giants are predominantly based in blue states. So, Google, Facebook, or Meta, as well as YouTube and Microsoft. Okay, and so I find that very troubling when they're getting their marching orders from a political party, because that doesn't make them, an open community platform where everybody can provide their views, opinions, and ideas, and they become a political apparatus. So they're no longer social media giants, they're political apparatus. Okay, and all of that started back during the Biden-Harris administration. Okay, matter of fact, there's been some engagement between Facebook and the Biden-Harris administration where they were told to perform certain party politics apparatus exercise. Okay, they were basically telling them who to silence, what to silence, and how often to silence these dissent and opposition. So that's why everything is becoming very problematic, and they're not showing their true colors, right? These social media giants, they're no longer balanced and fair. They're basically just, operating as a party politics apparatus of the Democratic Party. Matter of fact, these social media giants silenced former President Trump at that time, his first administration when he was in office. He was silenced by Facebook and Twitter. Okay, so let's kind of consider what's going on here, because if they have that kind of power and authority over a sitting president, I imagine the kind of power and authority they have over a nobody like you and me, like a regular person. Okay, folks, they could care less about your civil rights, human rights, your freedom of speech, because to them you're on their platform, so they have all rights and freedom to do what they want to do with you and the content that you're producing and sharing. Okay, they put community standards, but what does it really mean? Okay, folks, I mean, it's so vague and so general that anybody can pretty much just say, okay, I don't agree with what's being said, therefore I'm gonna delete it or not let people get access to that information or material. Okay, folks, so yeah, that was basically what I was talking about in my podcast. Just because I was thinking, why would anybody want to live in an undemocratic society where the ruling class are all tech companies, social media giants? So these are the elites of our population, multimillionaire billionaires, that are telling the nobodies of America, the regular people, the regular citizens of America, that we don't matter, that our rights as free people is not considered. They don't care if they, they don't care about our, freedom to opine and share our ideas. How are you, Laura Shelton? Yeah. So, anyway, I thought I, kind of opine about what I was talking about in our podcast today, just because, there's been a lot of situation and instances where during the Biden-Harris administration, truthful facts that were shared on social media were silenced. Truthful, I'm not talking about just made up fake news. I'm talking about truthful facts, right? And they managed to silence them. Okay, so that's the kind of reality we now live in. You know, and just a few days ago when I was doing my video blog, I was talking about how evil the world has become, how evil society has become because of the social media platform, and it's continuously happening. Okay, folks, we are in a very, very dangerous times in world societies, in our current events, because it was precipitated, okay, by the social media giants. You know, back in the days when I drafted the book Faceconomics, I started drafting it when I was still in college. I saw the value and benefit to humanity that the social media platform back in the days had the potential to, you know, take a role in. So I wrote about this book thinking, you know, that my concept Faceconomics, the utilization of the social media platform, was going to be that, you know, equalizer, that it would lift all boats and, you know, provide resources and solutions to various economic and social problems of this world. You know, at that time, Mark Zuckerberg was actually, you know, basically echoing what I was writing about and talking about. And, you know, he actually believed in the concept of economic development using the social media platform. You know, as a matter of fact, he went on various news organizations and said that he was planning to, you know, shoot up some satellite balloons so that people around the world that doesn't have access to the internet could have access to the social media platform. So that was basically, you know, what I've been writing about, using the social media platform in economic development worldwide. Guess what? A couple years later, he decided to basically do a U-turn and withdraw from that kind of solution to the problems of poverty, the problems of inequality, the problems of anti-democracy, the problems of oppression, tyranny, dictatorship. He basically withdrew from all of those, problems that his platform could have easily been utilized for, so that he could become a multi-billionaire. Right, folks? And so that's the reality of what's going on today. They basically just thought, just because they have full control of the new normal, which is the social media environment, our new normal around the world, that they could basically just do as they please. And now the world is in a very, very dangerous predicament. People are misusing the social media platform, and there's a lot of evildoers out there that are basically trying to destroy people, trying to destroy economies. They're trying to destroy the world. How are you, Francisco? Good to see you, brother. So that's today's reality because of these social media giants. They tried to social engineer the marketplace. They tried to social engineer the world. And most of them have no business meddling in the affairs of this planet. Most of them are faceless, nameless, people, rogue people that are hiding behind the internet and doing a lot of harm. Never believe or never interact with anyone on social media that does not put their picture, their real picture, and their name, their real name. These are nefarious, evil characters. They're out there trying to destroy humanity. They're out there trying to destroy this world. And they're doing it actively today. because they can hide. All right, folks. So anyway, the social media giants are based out of California, predominantly of them. And they all basically congregate in California, trying to social engineer the planet, trying to make social changes in America that would benefit a party politics narrative. Okay, so when I signed up for, to join Facebook or any of these social media platforms, I never thought that they would become party politics apparatus. I never thought that there'd be like, social media propaganda environment. But that's how they become. They turned their platform into a money-making machine for the elite class of America, the elite political class and the ruling class of America. And they've been trying to rearrange the dynamics of our society. All right, folks, and as I was talking about previously, that the reason I started the concept of faceconomics is to use the platform for the common good, the benefit of mankind, to actually become of value to this planet, because never in human history ever have we been exposed to this kind of massive communication platform, giant, platform, and then the decision makers, elites of America, are basically having a field day. They do anything and everything that they please. They could care less about your rights. They could care less about your life experiences and expertise. They basically just, figured, I don't like this person based off their look. They don't like the person based on how they talk. They don't like the person based on how, they see the world, their worldview. And therefore, to them, it's open season to go hunting for these individuals that is not like them, that's not talk, look, and act like them. It's open season. It's like turkey season. They're out there, having a field day, attacking and basically silencing the opposition if it doesn't fit their narrative. There's political apparatus narrative, and this didn't happen. This didn't just happen a few months ago. It's been an ongoing situation. All right, folks, we live in a very dangerous planet today. I cannot emphasize this enough. Okay, I travel the world. I commute between Washington and Europe on a regular basis, and even into the Pacific Rim. I have not seen this level of evil thanks to the social media platforms. Okay, folks, I mean, this is a fair warning that I'm sending out to the world, that the social media giants are out there to destroy this planet. Okay, I don't know why they've decided to engage in all these evil, nefarious, corrupt activities. I simply don't get it, because they used to be, the medium for social improvement and social change, but they went after the Trump administration and basically is trying to influence hearts and minds around the world based off of their political agenda. That's how they are operating right now. And because of that, the world is extremely volatile and in a very dangerous state, created by people in California, created by the social media giants in blue states. There's some of them that are actually following the opposition online. They're tapping into their online signal, internet signal, and try to silence their content. I mean, this is just unbelievable. I never thought that I would be around for this kind of evil, for this kind of dangerous planet, situation to be in. Okay, folks. So in my podcast, I talk about their, locations in California, and the overall, untransparent policies that these social media giants are kind of endorsing out there. It's like they're talking to, grade school students that don't know any better. So it's just very problematic that these social media giants are not being reprimanded. So I started this campaign on change.org. I'm gonna share that link at the bottom of this video blog for y'all to consider sharing and opining on. I wanted to hold Mark Zuckerberg legally accountable, meaning that he ought to be put in jail for all the transgressions and all the damages he's done to people and to this world. Okay, he's made this world an ever more dangerous planet. Okay, because of his greed, because of his neglect to preserving democracy, because of his very isolipsis agenda of basically silencing those that does not support a political apparatus that the Democrat Party have endorsed. Okay, he ought to be held accountable for that. He knew what he was doing. He did it because he wants more power, authority, and money in his pocket. Okay, so I mean, most of the people on social media don't even have millions of bucks, and here you have Mark Zuckerberg, who's a billionaire, okay, targeting people, regular people, silencing them, okay, making sure that their content and their message, if they're in opposition of the political apparatus agenda, that people won't be able to hear their message. So that's just the reality of things, folks. We have been influenced and imprisoned, okay, by the Democratic Party. Okay, I know Trump is now the president, but they're still utilizing the social media platform and these giants to go after the new administration, to silence those who support this administration and silence people within the administration on their platform. All right, folks, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Okay, look up where these social media giants are based. Okay, look up the bios of the leaders of these social media giants. Okay, folks, I've been in the Democratic Party for many years, and I've decided to leave the party the moment I realized that they're not being truthful with the public. They're not out there to support minorities and their rights. They're not out there to preserve democracy, diplomacy, and the rule of law. They're out there to become billionaires and millionaires. They're trying to line up their wallets on the backs of those people that are so, gullible to believe what they're telling them. Okay, folks. So that's the reality of things. Look into what I'm telling you and consider signing my petition. Okay. I've started the petition back in February, and so Share it with your friends and families. Tell people that we're getting screwed. Tell people that we now live in a very dangerous country in America and abroad. Okay, the planet is in a major, problematic situation because of the influences of the social media platform governed by the Democrat political elite. They have turned the social media platform into a Democratic apparatus, Democratic Party apparatus. Okay? That's the reality of things. I can't overemphasize this enough because it seems as if no one is calling them out on any of this. It just very troubling for me to realize that until Mark Zuckerberg is held accountable, no one's going to be able to expose this garbage. Okay, and I'm trying to do that now. People should go out there and speak up, speak the truth. The Democrat Party used to say, speak to, to power. Well, when you actually do it, they silence you. Okay, I've been silenced by the Democratic Party ever since the Biden-Harris administration was in office, and even during the Barack Obama administration, because I've shared my case, my institutional racism, workplace discrimination, civil rights violation, and human rights violation case with the public. I put it up on my social media platform. Look it up. It's called Abusive Power, the Giant Within, on WordPress. Okay, so look it up, Abusive Power, on the link is faceconomics, Abusive Power, the Giant Within. Google it and you'll see my case on there. But anyway, they've been silencing it for many years now. So that's the reality of today's world. We live in an extremely dangerous planet today, very evil, nefarious planet, and because of the social media platforms that we're basically being told what to do and are collaborating with, they're in compliance, they're in cahoots with this Democratic Party apparatus. Okay, so Kamala Harris is from California. I don't know if you guys realize that. She's from California, so is Nancy Pelosi. Okay, and all the bigwigs within the Democrat Party are basically telling the social media giants what to do. All right, they're trying to destroy this world. They're trying to destroy humanity as we know it because it doesn't fit their narrative. So they're frustrated. They know that they're losing traction and they're losing their overall credibility among the public. It doesn't matter whatever party you support. I mean, like I said, I come from a Democratic Party background, and then I left and become an independent candidate, and now I'm supporting a lot of new ideas and tend to be, common sense ideas within the Republican Party. Okay, so folks, if you want to have a world, okay, check this out. So I'm here on this bridge. Just thought I'd take a break here. So if you want to live in a world where you have your freedom, you have your protection, you have your rights preserved, speak up, join my movement, sign my petition, tell your family and friends about what I'm sharing with you guys now. Okay, I've been paying attention to the social media platform for ages. ever since there was one, because I got excited when it first rolled out, thinking that it was going to be of value to people, to humanity, to this world, via social media in economic development type of engagement. And then here you are, those evil, nefarious, corrupt characters are now running the show. Okay, and we live in a very different world, a very dangerous world, because of these social media corrupt elites that are governed by the Democrat Party apparatus. Okay, so forget about communism in just one country, forget about totalitarian, forget about authoritarian, forget about oppression, tyranny. It's happening in a massive scale. It's happening within the world. We're not just talking about a region of the world. We're not just talking about a country or community. It's happening and it's engulfing the world. Okay, folks, and it's doing it via the social media platform. It's fast evolving. Okay, so I wanted to, just kind of basically, inform the world and let the public know that we're in a very different predicament today. Okay, like I was saying, I used to be a supporter of the social media platform in economic development, but those days are now over. We now live in a society in the US and abroad where you can be silenced instantly, okay, if you're on their platform. Okay, so that's just the reality of things now, folks. It's just so problematic, and I mean, I'm overly sad about it, because I know that some of these things cannot be undone. When you put the wheels in motion and the damage has been inflicted, there's no turning back. Okay, folks, that's what I'm so worried about, because there is no turning back. I don't know how else to explain this. It's just so troubling. And I think the Trump administration understand what's going on and are trying to mitigate all these issues and risks. But they simply will not have enough power or even, skill to correct all the wrongs that the social media giants have imposed on humanity. There's just not enough skill out there to reverse all the damages and evil, nefarious activities that these social media platforms have inflicted on humanity. All right, folks. If you go to my channel, you would think I'd have, a little bit over a couple hundred followers and subscribers. That's not the case. The people that have millions and thousands of followers and subscribers are talking about stuff that are approved by the Democrat Party political apparatus. Okay, so if they voice the narrative of the Democrat agenda, okay, they ended up getting more views, more subscribers, because the social media platform allows them to get access to more eyeballs. Okay, so that's how they created the algorithms. The algorithms was specifically put in place and structured by the social media giants to penetrate the market and filter out those individuals, the influencers, that are in line within their narrative. Okay, folks, that's just the reality of things. You have to be in line with their party apparatus narrative in order for you to fit within their algorithm mold. Okay, folks? So it's not a democratic environment at all. Okay, it's not a freedom of speech environment. It's an oppression, very nefarious and corrupt system that they created, and today there's no turning back. All these evil stuff that they managed to pump out there and made it into the public's attention will live on. They're going to be affecting hearts and minds all over the world for generations because of these social media giants. Okay, they try to socially architect humanity in the world, even though the social media platform was never a part of humanity before. But they took it upon themselves to impose the narratives and ideas and values and whatever garbage it is that they feel the world ought to utilize and ought to support and ought to exercise. So that's just the reality of things today, folks, and here we are. We live in a very dangerous world, okay, where there are sketchy people hiding behind the internet and social media, monitoring private citizens that are basically generating content. And if your narrative does not fit the mold of the Democrat Party apparatus, then you're out of luck. Okay? You will not be afforded the kind of traction and connection with the public. Okay? Unless you pay them. You know, I understand there's various there are influencers that pay, you know, various social media platforms to amplify their subscription. But if you're wanting to build a grassroots following and you're not in line with the social media party apparatus of the Democrats, you're never going to make it. You're never going to get any form of exposure on these social media platforms. Okay, folks? That is the honest truth on what's going on today. And because of the social engineering that are extremely flawed and, you know, lump-sided, we now live very different, you know, not just different, but dangerous altogether. Because public opinion, when you brainwash people, they forget, you know, that light, the beacon, the guiding light, the compass that, you know, people navigated for common good. They get distracted and they get confused once you brainwash them. And the brainwashing is happening today in the social media platform. Okay, folks? And it cannot be regulated, cannot be reversed, and there is no way for any powers, government or judicial powers, to basically apprehend these evildoers. Okay, folks? Because they have money, they have power and authority, they have influence. So it's almost impossible to hold them accountable unless the world community, the ones that were affected by all of the social engineering that are very flawed, rise up and you know, in one voice inform the world that they will not put up with this kind of garbage, that their rights and the democratic values, okay, of America and other countries will have to prevail. Okay, hold these executives accountable, take them to jail, keep them there, okay, and have their platform reevaluated, okay, to make sure that it's not a totalitarian party politics apparatus of the Democratic Party. It's not an authoritarian, totalitarian, oppressive dictatorship, communist, oligarchy, you name it, all those, rogue, evil regimes of this world is not in power. Okay, folks. Today you can be an influencer, or you can be one of those people that will destroy this planet. You decide. All right. So I just wanted to emphasize that without your voice, okay, no matter how small, how big, or how influential you are, your voice matters. Okay, folks? Yes, there will be people that will challenge you. There will be people that will bring you down. There will be people that will attack you, laugh at you, you name it. That's understandable. It's a part of going public. Okay? But it's up to you to build up this courage, okay, to make sure there'll be a world for the next generation, okay? It's up to you to preserve peace, justice, and freedom of speech, preserve democracy in this world. Until you do, these corrupt evildoers, okay, will prey on the innocent. They will prey on those people that are weak and powerless, voiceless, and are gullible, because that's how they operate. Silencing the opposition is an overall modus operandi of the corrupt, the dictators of this world, the authoritarians of this world, okay? That's a well-known fact. So anyway, please consider signing our petition. I'm gonna share the link at the bottom section of this video blog, okay? Please share it and consider signing and talk about what I'm sharing with you now, with your family and friends. Inform them that the social media environment have been muddied up and corrupted by the powerhouse, the elites, the political apparatus of the Democratic Party, okay? They've changed the game, and the game is evil, okay? The more evil you are is the game, the better chances you'll win. So that's just how they created this whole issue and environment. The more evil you are, the better off you're going to be playing the game. And I'm trying to expose it, okay? I've been trying to expose it, but even during the time that I was running for office in the general election, 2020 general election, okay, as a independent candidate within the U.S. Senate race, Virginia U.S. Senate race, they didn't even let me debate. Nobody knew about my name. A Okay, and they're saying that no one even voted for me. So that's the kind of environment that we live in today, folks. If you're a nobody, you're marginalized, you're a no-name person, they'll basically stomp all over you and silence you and make sure that your life is a living garbage. Okay, that's their way of operating. So, you know, think about what I'm sharing with you now, folks. That's just the reality of today's world. So anyway, thank you for joining me on my walk today and my, video blog. Please let me know what you think about these issues. Share your comment and feel free, be frank with me. Be transparent. Tell me what it is that you believe in. I'm not expecting for you to adhere or echo what I say, but I do want you to be smart enough to reflect on what I'm talking about. Okay, folks? Research what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm not trying to dictate to you how to think. I'm simply sharing information and my observation. Okay, I mean, there's been some instances where people are dogging me on my video blog, on my live video blogs. There are people that are attacking me, and there are people that are, just saying all these nasty stuff against me. And I'm okay with that. So, I'm not gonna get hurt or personally take it seriously if you don't agree with me. But I do want you to research what I'm talking about, okay? Because that's the only way for you to really enlighten yourself, to get, to gain wisdom and understand that we live in a very different world today. And I cannot overemphasize this enough. There's people that say, okay, yes, we live in a different world, and, social norms have been altered. Yes, they have, but not to this extent. Not to the extent that humanity could be extinct in a matter of years, not decades, years, because of the evil, nefarious, corrupt characters out there that are in power. Okay, folks, if a sitting president was silenced by a social media platform, okay, the president of what people know and quote unquote think as a free world, imagine what they can do today. Okay, I mean, I'm talking about facts. I'm talking about today's reality, folks. They're going crazy. They're definitely off the rails. They're abusing their power. Okay, folks. So that's just the reality of things. So I don't know what else I can tell you, but please consider everything that I'm talking about. Consider, the overall situation that we're faced against. All right, folks. So with this said, thank you for joining me on my walk. I look forward to our next engagement. Like I said, comment, provide some sort of your opinion to the subject that I'm talking about. Okay, I'm really curious to know what you think as far as what I'm mentioning, because in all reality, folks, we're all in this together. And if we don't band and push back, we won't have much of a world to live in. With this said, thank you for your time. Talk to you later.